Sam, don't be afraid. I will not leave you alone tomorrow. Let your hands talk in the ring.
What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt Toville with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some breaking news concerning Oleksandr Usyk and Joe Parker. Okay, Usyk has asked the WBO for an extension on negotiations with Parker due to injury. Okay, he did let us know that he had 2 more fights in him, so we thought it was all a go, but now he has revealed that he is injured and he would like an extension on negotiations. So let me counterpunch. To me, the first thing I thought about was injury. Okay, what injury? You know, do we have a right to know the specifics of the injury? You know, does he look injured? Where did he get injured? You know, when you say injury, that's a wide topic. You know what I mean? That's very, very non-specific. You know, when it comes to overall explanation, you know what I mean? Do we have that right to ask? And the question is, why should we have to ask about stuff like that? You know what I mean? Because Joseph Parker, of course, was dicked around, I feel, on the IBF end with Daniel Dubois pulling out of the fight saying that he was sick. But a couple days later, we seen him driving his girl around. So, you know what I mean? So you're like, well, wait a minute. You weren't obviously that sick because you were out running errands and doing shit like that, but then yet you left Parker. Now Parker's in a situation where Usyk now, he has an injury. Well, I do think, you know, more needs to be revealed so people won't get suspicious. You know what I mean? I think transparency, remember that word? It's been often and recently linked to Terrence Crawford, but I think the same should be with every fighter, including Oleksandr Usyk. Let's see what's going on with Usyk, you know, like, you know, what does injury have to do with negotiations, though, as well? So you start thinking about it, you're like, okay, negotiations are one thing, but if he's injured, that's going to take time anyhow. So if it's going to take time anyhow, what does that have to do with his team negotiation for the Joseph Parker fight? Do you wait until you get well, then start negotiating? You know what I mean? And that's based on what the hell is going on with Oleksandr Usyk. Like, okay, did you have a knee injury or an ankle injury, a shoulder injury, or arm injury, or what? You know what I mean? What's going on with that fight? Because he barely was touched against Daniel Dubois, to be honest. You know what I mean? But injuries do occur. So I don't want it to come off like I'm just 100% doubtful of what's going on. It's just I wasn't aware. I don't think anybody was that Oleksandr Usyk is injured. And it is, just to play devil's advocate, it is very convenient to get an injury now. But the bright side to that is that he is asking for an extension. So he doesn't plan on doing what? Dropping the belt. So that's a good idea. That's a good sign, because at least he's still negotiating with the WBO and letting them know, like, hey, this is what's going on with us. It's not very specific, but I'm pretty sure that he will be more specific and detailed when it comes to explaining what's going on with them. That's why he's asking for the extension in the first place. That's what I would assume. You know what I mean? But if you're Joseph Parker or anybody on his side, you're going to be thinking, injury, huh? I wonder what's the hold up. However, there's more to this. And let me add, Frank Warren has revealed this news. And Frank Warren is like, hey, whoever wins this Saturday between Moses Atoma and Dillian White could get a shot at Parker, and Parker would fight one of those guys. So I'm thinking like, wait a minute. Parker is the guy that's next up in line to fight for the undisputed title. Then you have these guys that are fighting that are very high up in rankings on the WBO end. And whoever wins, he may fight them. And if I'm Joseph Parker, if I'm anybody in that team, I would be very, very alert and mindful of what could possibly happen or what's trying to take place. You see what I mean? It could be, to me, if I'm Team Parker's team, I may be thinking, hell no. Let's wait to see what Usyk's going to do, which they're probably going to do anyway. But for them saying, oh, well, you know what? Joseph could fight these guys, Moses Atoma or Dillian White. Well, Dillian White versus Joseph Parker wouldn't be a bad fight if Dillian messes around and win. Moses Atoma, it will set him up for another good fight. So that's great to him. So, you get Dillian White, then you get Joseph Parker. So you're right there where he needs to be. However, if you're Joseph Parker, you're like, why would I take that risk fighting Moses Atoma? I've already fought Dillian White back in the day. So why would I fight him when Oleksandr Usyk, we don't know what's going on with him? You know what I mean? It comes off as though you guys are trying to set me up to fight someone instead of the fighter that I deserve or worked my way up to fighting, right? I'm the guy that deserves an opportunity, and you guys are trying to get me or give me another fight. To me, it just kind of sounds like a fucking bunch of bullshit. To be, to be honest with you, you know what I mean? But nonetheless, though, I do think Joseph Parker should take his time. And since Usyk is being patient and they're taking their time and they're being compliant, I think Joseph Parker should show that same type of energy. You know what I mean? Because obviously they're taking their time, so should Joseph Parker, and just not take a fight just because it's given to you. Because I would take what I was deserved versus what's offered for me. Because I think the undisputed heavyweight championship would be way more worth than fighting someone that could be a natural born killer in Moses Atoma. And what do I get for that? I get to stay where I'm at versus going and getting the payday from fighting the undisputed person. After all, Danny Dubois left Joseph Parker to fight for undisputed, so why couldn't Joseph Parker fight for undisputed? Counterpunch. But you guys tell me what you think of this breaking news of Oleksandr Usyk revealing that he's injured. Therefore, he wants more time and extension, which he has written to the WBO. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch.